For brands selling on Amazon, there is one mistake that exposes them to more risk and more unexpected costs than any other mistake they can make. I've seen one new brand have to pay $50,000, another more established brand $100,000. And this mistake is something that a large percentage of brands starting to sell on Amazon for the first time are making without even realizing it. Before you figured out what's happening, you could be stuck in a corner with no good way out. The mistake is sending too much inventory into FBA. In this video, I'll show you why Amazon storage and removal fees combine to make too much inventory in FBA such an expensive mistake, how this can happen even to products that are selling well, and how to structure your business and inventory strategy so that you're never stuck in this position. Amazon doesn't want to be long-term storage. They want you to send them your inventory, have them fulfill it through their world-class network, and then replenish it with more inventory. They've structured the fees to reward brands that use their system efficiently and punish brands that don't. It's very cheap overall to send inventory to Amazon, but it's very expensive to have them send it back to you or to have it sit there for too long without being purchased. There are two fees that create this trap: aged inventory surcharges and removal fees. For the first 6 months your inventory is in FBA, storage fees are relatively low, but at the 6-month mark, Amazon adds an aged inventory surcharge on top of regular storage, and that rate keeps going up each month after that. It starts at 50 cents per cubic foot. By 241 days, it's $1.50 per cubic foot. At 271, which is 9 months, it jumps all the way to $5.45 per cubic foot. Then there are removal fees. When you ship inventory to Amazon, you usually ship in cases or on pallets, so you have some cost savings from scale. But if you need to send it back, Amazon charges you per unit to send it back to you. We had a client who paid around $50,000 to remove their inventory from FBA. You know what it cost them to send that inventory into FBA in the first place? Only around $2,000 to $4,000. So it's over 10 times more to get it back out. Let me show you what this actually looks like with real numbers. Let's say you're a new brand and you're selling a product like this laundry booster. You buy 2,000 units and you send them all into FBA. You launch in July. You start selling 100 units a month. After 6 months, you've sold 600 units, but 1,400 of them are still sitting in Amazon's warehouses. Here's what your monthly fees look like. The first spike hits in October. That's Amazon's Q4 storage rates, which are about 3 or 4 times higher than the rest of the year. Then in January, the aged inventory surcharge starts layering on top of the regular storage fees. And in April, when that surcharge jumps to its higher tier, monthly fees spike again to over $1,500 in a single month. Amazon also has a liquidation program, but the amount you get back from this program is very low. I've seen brands get a few cents per unit after their fees on products that normally sell for over $100. And once those units are liquidated, someone can end up getting them and selling them on Amazon for way below your normal price. So for a product you plan to keep selling, that's not a good path either. Although it might be a great option if you're stuck in this situation and you're planning on discontinuing the product anyway. Now, let me show you what the right approach looks like using the exact same product. Same product, same selling price, same 100 units a month of sales, same 1,200 units sold over the year. The only difference is that one brand sent 2,000 units up front and the other sent 200 to start and then replenished 300 units every 3 months through a 3PL, keeping the FBA inventory lean and never triggering a single aged inventory surcharge or removal fee. There's $1,166 in profit versus $16,542. So over $15,000 difference on identical sales. You do still obviously have to pay the 3PL too, which I didn't factor in here, but it still doesn't change the principle at all. Now, you might be thinking, as long as your brand's products sell well, then this won't be a problem. However, this can also happen when a product's listing is pulled down. It's very common in the first few months a product is selling, especially if your seller account is new too, for something odd to happen where Amazon's AI gets confused and restricts your listing or requires more documentation than it previously asked for. While you're working out the issue with Amazon, you may have inventory just sitting there costing you fees. So how do you make sure this never happens to you? The rule is simple. Only send in what you expect to sell in the next 2 to 4 months. For products with a long, consistent sales history, 4 or 5 months is fine. That's the window Amazon designed FBA for. And if you stay inside that, the fee structure works in your favor. For new products especially, send in less than you think you need. Most new products take time to get traction, and running a little low on inventory for a week is a far smaller problem than being stuck with 1,400 units that aren't moving. If sales take off, it's really easy to send more inventory in quickly. You'll see how sales are going after the first few weeks, and you'll be able to see what you need. There's no upside to sending a large batch of inventory before you have the information on how well the product is actually selling. One of the reasons brands end up in this situation, and this is particularly brands that are just starting out, is that they haven't arranged anywhere else to put their inventory. They hope to make things more efficient by ordering their inventory from their manufacturer and sending it all straight to FBA. If that's where you are, the first thing you need to do is find a 3PL, a third-party logistics warehouse. A 3PL holds your inventory at a fraction of what Amazon charges and ships smaller amounts into FBA on a rolling basis as you need them. Your FBA stock stays lean, your exposure to aged inventory surcharges stays near zero, and you're never in a position where thousands of units are sitting in Amazon's warehouses with nowhere to go. Never treat FBA as the main place your inventory sits long term. There is Amazon AWD, which stands for Warehousing and Distribution, and that's Amazon's long-term storage option. Now that's a much better option than sending all your inventory to FBA, although even that I don't recommend compared to just hiring your own 3PL. Now, understanding how to manage your FBA inventory is only part of the picture. The bigger question, especially when you're just getting started, is whether FBA is even the right fulfillment method for your brand in the first place. In my next video, I break down a full comparison between FBA and FBM, fulfilling products yourself, the pros and cons of each, how this choice affects how much you sell on Amazon, and how to figure out which one actually makes sense for your brand. Click right here to watch that video next.